Name a country that begins with U.
Yugoslavia?
With you, Utah.
A country that starts with a U.
Utopia.
Who's in the coalition of the willing?
No freaking idea.
Afghanistan, Kuwait.
Iraq, Pakistan, you know.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
What's the religion of Israel?
Israeli.
Muslim.
Islamic.
Catholic, probably.
What religion are Buddhist monks?
Buddhist monks.
Buddhist monk.
Islamic, I don't know.
Who won the Vietnam War?
We did.
And who was
Wait, were we even in the Vietnam War? Okay, good.
country that begins with U?
A country?
Yeah. What about this one?
What?
The United States of America. My name's John Howard, Prime Minister of Australia. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
John Howard, Prime Minister of Australia.
Oh, are you?
Yes, I am indeed. Very nice to meet you.
Son-in-law is from Queensland.
Really?
Texas.
Excellent. I hope he voted for me. Have you seen me on the television?
Yes, I have.
Fantastic. My slogan is John Howard is my mate.
John Howard is my mate.
John Howard is my mate.
In terms of the war on terror, who do you think should be the next country to invade?
Saudi Arabia.
Somebody in the Middle East.
I'm thinking Italy.
Italy.
Cuba.
Cuba.
Yeah.
Iran.
Iran. Why is that?
I think there's a revolution going on pretty soon.
Russia, China,
India and Pakistan.
Indonesia, Brazil, Canada.
Sri Lanka. Right here. Never heard of it.
Kofi Annan is a drink. True or false?
Coffee's a drink.
Coffee and what?
It sounds like a law firm.
Yeah, who is Tony Blair?
I don't even know.
Okay. All right. Any guess?
Any guess? Skater?
Tony Blair is an actor.
Linda Blair's brother.
What is Al Qaeda?
Al Qaeda is a group, suicide group in Israel, in Middle East, that they do suicide bombs and stuff.
Okay. Right. Yep.
And the president of it is Yasser Arafat.
The Age of American Unreason offers an unsparing description of what Susan Jacoby calls an overarching crisis of memory and knowledge.
In an age of unreason, you tend to get focus on very small personal facts as opposed to big issues. But even more than that, lack of knowledge and unreason affects the way candidates speak about everything. But I think, one of the big mistakes today that's made today is you talk about our political culture as if it were something separate, something different from our general culture. What I say in the Age of American Unreason is, no, that's wrong. Our political culture is a reflection of our general culture. It is as much shaped by our general culture as it shapes our general culture. And now what we have is a situation in which people go to hear people they already agree with. What's going on is not so much education as reinforcement of the opinions you already have. 1 out of every 5 Americans still believes that the sun revolves around the earth. But you shouldn't have to be an intellectual or a college graduate to know that the sun doesn't revolve around the earth. There's been a huge failure of education.
If the only way that you get your information about a political campaign is by watching television news, you're only going to get one perspective, especially if you only watch one network or one station or listen to one person, Bill O'Reilly or somebody like that, right? There's nothing wrong with listening to Bill O'Reilly. I would temper that by reading the Wall Street Journal and then tempering that with the New York Times or the San Francisco Chronicle, and perhaps read a blog online and listen to NPR. I mean, a multiplicity of sources. Here's the thing. If you find that all of your sources are basically telling you the same thing, then the chances are that's probably right. What they're saying is true. If you're getting a wide variety of opinions about the same thing, then that's probably something you're going to have to think a little bit about. The problem is, in this country and in this culture, and in spite of the fact we talked about the internet, television is still the big dog. More people get their information from television, political information, than from any other source. Primarily television news, but in the campaign, sometimes the advertising too, which is sandwiched around that same news broadcast. And this is where we've talked about the blame you could point for political communications at candidates, for parties, at the news, but this is really where it comes back to voters. If you want to do better, then you have to be better consumers, frankly, of this information, because the responsibility ultimately for voting is with you.
I would also go to the candidates' websites, because very often their positions on issues are clearly articulated. Parties have platforms. They're articulated on our websites so that people can understand where we stand as a party specifically on a specific issue. The other way to get that message across also is also changing with generations, with young people getting their information more from YouTube or Facebook or MySpace or whatever. In some cases, Craigslist. But the information gauntlet out there is so diverse now that has ever been the case.